We developed a web-based document management system. So this is actually what staff members see now when they go to retrieve, whether it be most likely financial related documents that have been archived within the system. It's very user-friendly. You can see from the fields it's web-based. As I mentioned, we're no longer tied to user licenses. Everyone that is logged on to a district networked computer has the ability to go on and actually search for documents. So this platform will be utilized until the go-live date of BSNA. So the web-based document management system will house all historical documents and current documents until such time that we are ready to go live with the new BSNA financial management system. When that time comes, we will actually migrate to Laserfish document management system. And that program will actually provide the automated workflow. It's sort of the powerhouse in the back of all of our software platforms that provides that electronic routing of documents, electronic approvals, and then provides the necessary archival and indexing of that information. A very exciting CityWorks Asset Management Program. So we previously indicated that the asset management program is really being viewed as a multi-year, multi-phase process. We're looking at approximately 3 years to actually collect all of the data, build it into the system, and have all of our infrastructure and internal departments utilizing the program. So that first phase is a focus on utility infrastructure. We anticipate actually having a kickoff meeting later this month. We have numerous stakeholders involved with asset management. We have, of course, the district, Jacobs, who is the on-site. They actually manage the operations of our current water and wastewater utility systems. They are going to be our implementation partner for CityWorks. We have CityWorks themselves, TSG, as well as Sumter County. Those are all going to be instrumental stakeholders in moving this project forward. Additional phases, once we collect that initial utility infrastructure data, we will move forward with residential district infrastructure, bill of roads, multimodal paths, and then moving into the amenities, all the recreational facilities, golf courses, pretty much everything that falls under the purview of all of the commercial and residential districts. So, as an example, district property management, we're going to use them today as a poster child. They continually review their internal processes. That's something that every department does on a continual basis. However, when going through the implementation program of a new software platform, it's important to actually document those processes. So, property management has actually begun their process mapping to identify their internal processes and how that will be incorporated into the CityWorks program. So up on the screen, on the left-hand side, you can see what that DPM process mapping is looking like utilizing Visio. This is an example of a work order process. So from the time that the work order is established, how that will actually move through the system, what approvals are necessary. A lot of it ties to dollar thresholds as well, and then depending on the respective area, what type of infrastructure, who would be responsible for the necessary approvals. On the right-hand side of the screen, you actually see this is a snapshot of a CityWorks work order profile. So they're mapping all of this out, so when the time comes to actually begin the implementation process, it will be much smoother to be able to migrate it and actually customize how CityWorks is going to operate based on DPM practices. A significant component of the CityWorks Asset Management Program is the utilization of Geographic Information Systems, known as GIS. So you'll hear more about an interlocal agreement with Sumter County when Mr. Blocker gets up to speak. But one component of the interlocal agreement was GIS services provided by the county. And that not only applies to Sumter County, that applies to Marion, Lake, and all of the municipalities that are incorporated within the villages. They will be providing those services for us. We have had initial discussions with Sumter County to understand the data that they currently have available. They provide services to numerous constitutional officers, so they have a significant amount of data layers that the district could potentially utilize within the CityWorks program. We have provided them with data that we have as well. That data includes utility valve locations as well as meter locations, so they can understand how data has been collected so far and how to move forward with building that into a GIS layer. This is actually a sample GIS layer that Sumter County currently has available. It encompasses all of the stormwater structures throughout the villages. That's County Road 42 moving south. It's all mapped out within this GIS layer as an example of information that will be available to us. And I know it's hard to see up on the screen, but it actually encompasses end structures, manholes, inlets, and then actual gravity mains. That's going to be a significant benefit moving forward, and it prevents the district from duplication of services. Sumter County already has this data available. Through the interlocal agreement, we're going to be able to utilize that, which is a significant cost savings as well. So we have exciting things going on. Moving forward, we'll keep the board updated as we progress with all of these projects. Now I'll turn it over to the Finance Director, Ms. Ann Hawkscroft.
Good morning, board and audience. Ann Hawkscroft, Finance Director. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. I can honestly say and speak for the entire finance team that we're very excited about the prospects of being on BS&A and going live with them first quarter of next year, as well as this new document management system. I am here before you today to discuss an initiative that is underway currently to review all of the financial reports that we are publishing from the finance department. As we look at the finance team's role, the finance team's role is to provide financial statements and financial information to the reader, as defined by the reader. We need to recognize the differences in the audience to know that we are providing the information that can associate to that particular audience, whether that audience be you, the board, the finance team, other team members, and the leadership of the district. We also need to be publishing accurate and timely information on a monthly basis. This compares to the board's fiscal responsibility to provide oversight to the financial operations of each of the districts. The financial statements belong to you, the readers. They don't belong to the finance team. And so as such, board reports that we provide to the board should be concise, easy to read, and in a format that's easily understandable for either a financial expert or a non-financial expert. The financial statements should describe for the board results in a big picture. They should include key elements that describe the successes of the district. Finance team will always be reviewing the financial information at a very micro level. The departments and teams will always be reviewing at a very detailed level for the teams. The financial statements for the board should be able to assist you all in understanding the financial results of the district as a whole. The monthly report should show fluctuations to budget and to prior year. As you know, we are required to be monitoring the fluctuations and making sure that we adhere to budget. It's equally important for us to understand any fluctuations or changes from year to year. We should also include information that shows that we are growing, what the growth is within the district. Change in cash balance, change in fund balance, and investment performance. So, currently, we provide anywhere from 4 to 22 pages of very detailed reports to each of the boards. With this level of detail, and let me say that is the same report that we provide to every audience. whether it's you or the leadership. With this level of detail, it sometimes can be hard to synthesize the results and understand the big picture of the financial results for the district. So it's our recommendation to modify the current monthly financial statements that we provide to the board to present two things. One, the statement of activity. Statement of activity is a report that describes the revenue, expenses, and other changes in fund balance, whether that be debt payments, capital purchases, or transfers to other funds. We will report this year-to-date. We will report the year-to-date results and compare this to budget and to prior year. We will roll up those key revenue items, key expense items, and key other changes that help us understand in an easily understandable way the financial results of the district. The second page will be a memo highlighting the results of the district for that year-to-date basis. The goal again is to provide the board members with an easy, understandable way to see the results of the district month over month. So for future considerations, as we finalize the strategic plan as a district, finance will create an easily a way to track the results as they relate to financial activity for the district. Also, periodic reports that we will provide to trend the growth of the district, whether that be cash, change in fund balance, revenue growth year over year. So it's my goal to be presenting to each of you at your May or June meeting a draft of the new financial statements. Thank you very much.
Good morning. So a few things are going on, you think, right? And the Bears been in charge for almost 9 months. We haven't been sitting back with our feet on our desk, as you can see. So he initially started off his presentation thanking the staff, and I too reiterate that the staff has been more forthcoming with their time and effort in trying to, put forth all these changes and all these great ideas. But I think we would be remiss if we did not thank the leadership of Mr. Bear as well. So we do So a few things that I want to talk to you today is about, the business model, the efficiencies, how we are basically spending our dollars wisely and becoming more efficient with those models while not affecting the outcome or maybe enhancing the outcome at a more efficient level. So one of the things that is near and dear to my heart is our investment committee and our investment advisory committee and our investment portfolio that we have. We have a very unique opportunity here in the villages in this government that we have such a well-diversified investment portfolio to include a long-term investment portfolio of equities. Most governments do not include equities in their portfolio. It's just not in their DNA to have that. Their funds are more short-term in nature, and they typically don't go out past a 1 to 3 type of aspect. So in that, we have a very unique opportunity that we can outperform, and our goal is always to outperform inflation, and I think we've been very successful in doing that. One of the things that we did this year is to look at our investment policy to see how can we enhance our investment policy, what more tools can we put in our toolbox to effectively try to gain more yield back to the districts in their investment portfolio and their investment holdings. So 2 things we did is we added 2 additional portfolios that we can invest our dollars in. One is the enhanced cash. So that was a little bit different. We didn't have anything on the curve that recognized any type of cash that we could invest in like a 12 to 18 month structure. So we did include an enhanced cash structure into our portfolio, as well as going out to a 1 to 5. So previously we had daily and we had 1 to 3. So now we have a daily fund, we have an enhanced cash fund, we have a 1 to 3 fund, and now we have the opportunity, if we want, when it's more strategic to do that, to go into a 1 to 5 opportunity. So we have it all covered on the yield curve from daily opportunities to a 1 to 5 opportunity. So that is a tool in our toolbox that we're going to be able to take advantage of. One of the things we did take advantage of was going into a to a enhanced cash strategy. We had 2 1 to 3 funds that we had dollars in, and we presented to the investment advisory committee that we had an opportunity looking at the yield curve and the changes on the shorter end. We could take advantage of going into enhanced cash and divesting ourselves of one of our 1 to 3 funds while keeping one of them by divesting the other one and going into a shorter term in enhanced cash. And that has proved to be very positive on the returns, as we've seen in our reports to each and every one of y'all on a monthly basis and the investment advisory committee, that the enhanced cash strategy is working. We do have the 1 to 5. We have not taken advantage of that yet, but in time there will be an advantage and a strategic point in time to go into that. The other thing that we do annually is our annual cash flow analysis and looking at what type of cash do we have that we can have put out even further, 5, 10 years, that we would put into the long-term investment portfolio. We just went through that exercise. We reported back to each board as to the opportunities we see to put out even longer. So as we go forward, we're now going to look at the cash flow analysis on an annual basis at an even more granular level. So in other words, looking at each individual district, each fund, how can we take advantage of daily cash opportunities and going out even further and seeing what other extra dollars we have to put out into the investment portfolio. So we're not resting on the ideas that we have. We're going to enhance them and continue to increase the advantages that we can take opportunities on the investment portfolio. So one that we're very proud of. We continue to work it. We continue to manage it. And we're happy to report to you that I think we've made some significant changes, all while trying to beat inflation. Yes, ma'am.
Enhanced cash is not a term I'm really familiar with. They didn't teach that in accounting in 1492. Can you just explain?
So enhanced cash. So certainly, I'd love to. So enhanced cash is a fund that we use that is longer out on the yield curve than a daily opportunity or 60 days or less. It actually, you look at dollars that you won't need for like 12 months. So you push that a little bit longer, you pick up a little bit of yield on the yield curve by investing a little bit longer. So typically the duration of that fund is going to be around 6 months is what we're looking at. And it balances out based on the opportunities that we have. So we had a 1 to 3 and a daily. We didn't have anything in between, so that's why we did that. Yes, ma'am. Great question. Thank you.
And while you're on that, maybe you can talk about the possibility of an inverted yield curve.
Well, if we want to get into economics, we could have a long conversation about that. And what is that telling us? And where we're going? Is there going to be a recession? We probably don't want to talk about that. We got some bankers back here that could probably really talk about how that's going to affect us, but that's for another day. So other things that we've been doing here is looking at our operational efficiencies. And when we look at efficiencies, we look at opportunities to enhance the service that we provide at a cheaper, more efficient dollar rate, right? We want to make sure that we're operating with the dollars that we have the most efficiently way we can. We don't want to be essentially just taking dollars and just spending it without doing analytical reviews and doing that analysis to make sure we're spending each and every dollar the most efficient way we can and getting the biggest bang for our buck. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about in the interlocal agreement with Sumter County is we've entered into an agreement with them to do our fleet maintenance. And we'll go into it a little bit further, but essentially the county is going to be doing our maintenance of our fleet. And we'll talk about that a little bit in the next slide. Fleet procurement, we have another slide on that as well. We looked at our fleet and said, we have a fleet of about 150 vehicles, whether it be the white fleet essentially or the BPSD, the fire trucks. We said, how can we sit here and look at our fleet and make sure we have the best fleet we can, the safest fleet we can, the most efficient models that we can, all while expending those dollars in the most efficient way that we can. So we looked at a process of how we procure our current fleet, and it was kind of decentralized. So we wanted to bring it into a centralized model, all while using a method of a leasing program. So we entered into a partnership with Enterprise to effectively start leasing our fleet, and you'll see in the next slide how it's become more efficient for the operations and how we're actually saving dollars with a better vehicle. The other thing we're looking at, as Ms. Duckett alluded to, as far as using some additional spaces down south, co-locating. We're also co-locating PPM, Community Watch, the fire station, multiple services, sharing those services, sharing satellite offices that we can now afford those opportunities for residents in a different jurisdiction south of where we're currently at a more efficient model. They can make sure they take care of the residents when they come to those satellite offices. NSCUD, LSSA, and BCSA, the three utilities that we operate. We look at opportunities. Sometimes opportunities present themselves in different ways. In this case, we had an opportunity with two positions. They were vacant. That was in our operations of our utilities. We saw the opportunity to talk to our current consultant and to actually extend the opportunity for the current consultant to help us manage the operations of the utilities. We have been doing that now for approximately 4 to 5 months, and annually we're going to see a savings of approximately $100,000 while not reducing any type of service to the utility. So we saw that as an opportunity, and we took advantage of it, and that's what we look at. You know, a window may open, a window may close, but when that window opens, that's an opportunity we may be able to take advantage of it to become more efficient in our business and analytical modeling. The other thing we're going to talk about is the interlocal agreement with Sumter County, which is very near and dear to our heart. It took a long time getting there, but it is giving us the ability to become more efficient with our dollars. So I talked about our fleet procurement process. This slide may be a little bit busy for you, but you do have it in front of you. But essentially what we did is we looked at our fleet. We looked at how can we better utilize our dollars and have a more efficient fleet. So we looked at an equity type of model, that would say, when is it the best time to purchase a vehicle or lease a vehicle in this case, and when is it the best to return that vehicle for the biggest value that they have in the market. So we're looking at different items, trucks, big trucks, small trucks, hybrids, Community Watch, some hybrids, more fuel efficient, greener, so to speak. So we looked at the model, we put together what we think is a good model to effectively know what our budget dollar is going to be every year. It's not going to be just a random guess as to what we're going to purchase, not have a management plan in place. We're going to look at how can we purchase a vehicle, consistent budget dollars. We put together a plan that essentially is going to save us about $70,000 a year, having a newer fleet out there, safer fleet, and more efficient fleet. If you take that over 10 years, it's about a $700,000 budget savings. If you take in the current equity of our fleet, it's about a $1.3 million savings over 10 years, all while having a more efficient fleet, safer fleet, better fleet. So one that I think we're very happy to see it roll out. And we have the first 3 vehicles for customer service has 3 new vehicles, and they're starting to come in as we speak. We're actually getting them right off the line. Ford, Chevrolet, they're all coming off. So very, very happy about that one. The interlocal agreement we talked about with Sumter County. So we looked and worked very hard with Sumter County to say, how can we work together as a partner and gain some economies of scale? They do a lot of things, we do a lot of things, but they have a lot more resources available to do some things that we can take advantage of. Fire service, Chief Kane worked with us on this to help us put together an agreement with Sumter County to identify certain responsibilities, closest unit response, budgetary things, to make us more efficient in our non-duplicating of services where we were duplicating from things before. So we're becoming more efficient for the taxpayer. All of us are taxpayers. We want to become much more efficient. Stormwater identifies certain areas of the stormwater agreements, make sure that we're taking care of what we're supposed to take care of, the county's taking care of their means, but while we're doing it more efficiently, and we can help each other out, become a partner. The GIS system, Geographic Information Systems, Ms. Wilson talked to you about that. We're utilizing the county system because it's available. Why reinvent the wheel? And we save $300,000. Not too bad. Public safety radio system, just become an efficient use of the county system, going through them for procurement and the radios. So we're utilizing their systems they have in place. Why reinvent the wheel? Why cost us money? Utilize what they have. Fleet maintenance. So previously, we were spending about $500,000 in fleet maintenance. The county has a fleet maintenance system already built in. They have a shop. They weren't utilizing it. They asked us, you want to utilize our fleet maintenance facility? We said, sure, we're not going to pay you for it. They said, fine, save $500,000. What a great deal. So we have an issue with our fleet. Need an oil change, tire rotation, transmission, carburetor. We don't do carburetors anymore, do we? We take it right down here. Actually, I think they'll come pick it up and take it there, fix it, and bring it back to us. So it's a great efficient use of the taxpayers' dollars for both Sumter County and ours. They had this shop they're utilizing. They weren't getting the biggest bang for the buck, so we took advantage of that. So one of those things that we look at, how do we become more efficient with our dollars and deliver a better service to the resident? And with that, I'm proud to say that I'm going to introduce Mr. Chief Edmund Kane, and he can tell you about all of our fire services.
Okay, by going to fleet maintenance, how much did you end up saving on that $500,000?
Well, that is a saving.
Oh, that is a saving.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the net, that's the net.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Edmund Kane. I'm the fire chief of the Villages Fire Rescue, and we're going to go over a very short oversight or overview of the fire department, how we function, what we do to provide services within the villages. As Mr. Bear stated earlier, we cover approximately 70 square miles of the villages. That includes the cities of Lady Lake, the lake section within Lady Lake, Freeman Park, and in addition to the city of Wildwood, and also Lake County, Marion County, Sumter counties where the villages expands into. We are approximately right now, our goal is 70% firefighter paramedics, 30% EMT firefighters. Right now, we're just a tad over 50% paramedics within the department. Actually, with the class that we're hiring today, there's several paramedics in that. I have over 10 paramedics that are in school right now as EMTs, so we're slowly getting away with increasing that number as we grow bigger. Now, as you notice in the chart, we are divided into 3 different shifts. There's 40 personnel per shift. There are 2 battalion chiefs on those same shifts. They oversee the day-to-day operations of those crews. There's one in the north, there's one in the south. We work a 24-hour shift, and we are off 48 hours. You'll also notice, as I stated a minute ago, that there are 40 personnel on the shift, and you're probably going, what am I doing with all those people, and what do they do all day? They are divided up between 5 different engines that service the villages, 3 aerial devices, and 6 rescue units that are non-transport. Every one of those units are licensed within the state of Florida to provide advanced life support care to the patients. This way we utilize the engines not only for fire events, auto accidents, but we can respond then to medical emergencies as they are probably closer depending on where the call is located throughout the district. So how busy are we? First of all, when you look at these statistical information, they are done in financial year. So for 2017, we ran over 20,000 calls within the villages. Next year, 2018, 22,000 plus calls. And year to date, so far this year, we're at over 12,000 incidences throughout the villages. As we talked a moment ago about paramedic services, you notice right off the bat that our biggest percentages of medical calls are our largest percentage of calls, over 57% throughout the department. We have 35% service calls. Those are partly smoke detectors that we go out and change for the residents at no charge. That also includes fishing out kittens out of storm drains, drones out of trees. We go out and do that. Good intent calls, that's basically if somebody has fallen and cannot get up, we go out and pick them up, check them out. If they don't want to go to the hospital, that's fine. We are approximately 1% fire-related calls throughout the district. And as the year increases, obviously our call volume will increase towards the end of the cycle. This map here shows the boundaries of the villages. You will see we have marked the 9 stations in the system right now. I will tell you that each station is located approximately 2-mile radiuses from the other stations. This provides us a rapid response time, which we'll talk about in a few moments. In addition, In the purple, you can see the stations that surround the villages.